Hey guys, the average sports fan here, and I want to welcome you to my first ever video of my first ever series. Is I'm going to be taking over for Chip Kelly in Philadelphia. We all saw Chip Kelly get fired. He's out of there, so they're going to hire a new coach. They're going to hire somebody with little experience in the NFL, actually zero experience in the NFL. His name is going to be Alex Walker. And I'm going to try to make this series, a little bit unique a few ways. First off, I'm going to play it realistically in terms of the Philadelphia Eagles just fired Chip Kelly, and they gave Chip Kelly like complete GM power, and he made a ton of moves. A lot of people don't think they were the right moves. So Philadelphia coming into this new head coach hiring would not give me um, GM powers right away. It's just something that Philadelphia wouldn't do. So that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I have turned on the CPU options for re-signing players, signing free agents, all of that kind of stuff. So that's going to be sort of like the front office taking control of that. And I'm going to have to try to work with whatever they give me. Um, Now, I will have a say in what they do because I'll be able to choose my own, play style and whatnot. And I believe the CPU will try to match their team's playbooks and their team's play style and whatnot. So that's the way I can kind of try to influence how the front office is going to hire. However, the final decision is going to be theirs. The CPU will make those choices, and hopefully it's going to be fun. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have certain events happen that are going to affect both the team and the gameplay directly. I don't want
As
to
you load
spoil
into your first
too
game,
much
notice
for
the goal.
you, so I won't go too far into that. However, there will be, certain events and whatnot that affect the gameplay directly. They're going to change things up. Hopefully that's going to be exciting. Hopefully you all will enjoy watching this. I'm going to enjoy doing it, which is what matters most. So, uh, gonna hop on into it. I see Curry has rejected the contract that the front office offered him, which it does kind of suck mainly because he's a strong defensive end. What I'm going to do first and foremost, I'm going to advance to the next week and see who we re-signed because that's where we are at the season. We're at re-signing free agents. I have simmed the first season. That would have been Chip Kelly's final season. I've simmed that. The Eagles ended up finishing 8-8. They didn't make the playoffs, so I think it's still realistic that Chip Kelly would have gotten fired. Um, all right, let's see. All right, well I can see one big change already. Obviously, the front office did not think Sam Bradford was the guy. He has not been re-signed, so that is going to be quite a big task on our hands. Signing a franchise quarterback. Um, so obviously we could do that one of two ways: either go free agency or go through the draft. But we're gonna have to do that because I don't think Mark Sanchez is the guy. Hopefully the front office doesn't think Mark Sanchez is the guy. So they will have to go that route. Let's see kind of what else. DeMarco Murray, Ryan Matthews. Those are two strong players. I'm not sure who I'm going to start between these two. I mean, as of right now, I think DeMarco Murray has the start. But we're gonna try them both out and see, kind of who wins that job. We don't have a fullback. We're a little weak at wide receiver. I would prefer um, some speed at wide receiver. These guys aren't too bad, but I want that one guy that's going to be able to burn almost anybody on the field. I think that gives you an incredible advantage when you have to double team them, or else they're going to just burn right past somebody. We got really strong tight ends. Zach Ertz is pretty incredible, and I use my tight end a lot, so that's going to be awesome. Left tackle strong. Left guard could use some work. Center is strong. I believe the right guard could use some work too. Yeah. Right tackle's pretty strong. Offensive line's all right. Only got two holes at left and right guard. Left end is blank because we lost Vinny Curry, and it looks like we also lost, I believe, Thornton, C. Thornton. I can't remember his first name, but we have lost him as well. I know they both were at the end of their contracts at that season, so we've lost both of them. Fletcher Cox at right end, obviously. Defensive tackle. I play a 4-3, so I'm hoping that the CPU will hire some more defensive tackles because we're definitely going to need it. We're going to need at least one more strong defensive tackle, and I'd like another backup for when these guys are getting tired or, injuries throughout the season. Connor Barwin, Michael Kendricks, and Kiko Alonso. I may try to switch. They're 26 years old. It might be a difficult switch to make on their positions. And we're also not hurting at either outside linebacker position. So maybe a trade for one of these guys, either Michael Kendricks or Kiko Alonso, because they're both strong players and they both deserve to start on a team. And also, D'Amico Ryans is pretty strong as well as a backup. So we're kind of set at middle linebacker. We could even shop one of those guys around. Yeah, right outside linebacker. We're definitely weak at cornerback. Um, we definitely need some free agents here. Um, I'd like to have some established guys here. Hopefully they don't go to the draft for cornerbacks, but we will see. Free safety Malcolm Jenkins, that's strong safety. Definitely we could use some work there. Cody, let's see, kicking power and kicking accuracy. Those both are pretty good, so I think we'll live with Parkey at kicker. But I mean, really, it comes down to kick power and kick accuracy. And this guy's decent. He's not the best. We could probably use a better punter, but that's up to the front office. So we've kind of taken a look at things. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna change my scheme. So let's run through this. West Coast offense with an attacking 4-3. It's pretty standard. A balanced quarterback. I want him to have a little bit of speed. I want to be able to get out of the pocket. I think that's the future of the NFL. So I want to be ahead of the curve in terms of that. One cut halfback I think fits this team well. I think DeMarco Murray and Ryan Matthews, I think both of them are strong one cut backs. Runner, receiver, and fullback. I want to use every position on the field. Wide receivers. I got the first one as possession because I've always loved that duo of, you've got Calvin Johnson on one side, or you've got Larry Fitzgerald on one side, and on the opposite end, you've got some guy who is going to be able to burn a defense. Um, I think that's a wonderful duo. Obviously, the slot, you want speed. Tight end, receiver, focusing more on pass blocking. Actually, I think I might change this into balance. Yeah, let's just go balanced between pass and run blocking because we want to run a balanced offense. Speed rusher for defensive ends. I want them to be able to get to the quarterback. Defensive tackles really need to tackle outside linebackers are going to be the same thing. They're going to be run stoppers, with the middle linebackers being the ones who kind of do well with covering the tight ends and the running backs. Cornerbacks man to man. I run a lot of man to man, so I want the cornerbacks to be able to keep up with the receivers. I want to rely more on my pass rush to stop the pass rather than the coverage because I think any quarterback can beat a secondary given enough time. But if you take away that time, it becomes really difficult for any quarterback to beat a defense. Free safeties, balance, strong safety. I want them to be the playmaker because that's the one who we're gonna have to sign in free agency or go through the draft or whatever the case may be. So I want him to be the playmaker. All right, now that that is done, I believe we're ready to just go ahead and sim through. They're going to be signing the free agents, so I'm just going to sit back and hope that our team makes some pretty good moves in free agency, gives me some decent weapons on offense, and picking up some strong defensive players. All right, so it doesn't look like anybody is signed in week one. I'm gonna kind of take a. I don't know if I should do it. Actually, yeah, I kind of want to just be surprised. It did say the cap room was 9.5. Yeah, I believe it's 9.5 million, which means they have made either a ton of moves or a lot of big money moves because I know the cap room on this team was huge um, prior to that first week of free agency, so they're making some pretty big moves, it looks like. Time will tell who this team goes after. I don't even know who the free agent quarterbacks are in terms of who's available. All right, so I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to tell me, someone's going to pop up saying they've signed the contract. Um, Nobody on here looks different. So I think it's safe to say that nobody has signed yet. I'm also going to check the options and to make sure signing off-season free agents is on. Yeah, it's all on, fill roster, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be playing all pro. Um, we'll see how it goes. If it's too easy, I will up it. I just find all Madden way too cheesy in these games. But I think all pro. I may even stick with all pro and just adjust some sliders to make certain aspects of the game more difficult rather than going to all Madden. Or I might do the other way around, going to all Madden and changing the sliders to make certain aspects a little easier. Going on into the next week, I won't scout people because I'm going to simulate our draft picks to see who this team picks up. Um, so I don't need to do the scouting. I don't think that affects the CPU. I think the CPU just has like a knowledge of who's good and who's not and who to pick. Not saying they won't pick a bust, but I think they're pretty strong in knowing. All right, so we've got some accepted contracts. Oh, I do not like that quarterback choice. Um, Whoops. We picked up a cornerback there. A 69 overall. Okay. Picked up a left guard, a 74 overall left guard. That's not strong either. So I am not happy with this so far. Um, Austin Davis at quarterback. It's going to be tough. Maybe they'll pick somebody up in the draft. Justin Tuck at defensive end. That is pretty big. That's probably where a lot of the money went, at least for the first year. So I like that. Um, Fullback, Summers, that's all right. Fullback's not too important. Victor Cruz at wide receiver. That is interesting. He's definitely not the guy that's going to be able to overpower the defensive backs, but I think that's going to be a pretty strong addition. You're going to be able to use him. Picked up another defensive end, a 66 overall. That's clearly just a backup. Um, Brandon Boykin returns to Philadelphia. Uh, I have a friend who's a big Philly fan, and he will be very happy to see this that Brandon Boykin is back in Philadelphia. Um, they're going to pick up Chris Johnson at running back. We've already got two really strong running backs. So personally, I think this is a waste of money. I think you should have went to the draft to find another running back, or at least, um, a lower tier running back, because he's not a guy who's going to be playing every down. He's not even a guy who's going to be playing, every third down, because he's the number three guy. But yeah, so they've picked up Chris Johnson. Here's another cornerback in Thorpe, 68 overall. So that doesn't sound very good. Beecham, he's a strong left tackle at 84 overall. So we'll take that. We weren't really struggling at left tackle, but it's always nice to have strong players on the team. And Rambo at 75 overall is going to be the strong safety. So kind of looking at the team right now. See what we got with Austin Davis at quarterback. Running back stays the same, kind of with Chris Johnson added. Fullback, wide receivers, Riley Cooper, Victor Cruz. What's the speed on Victor Cruz? That's my question. 88. So he's not the quickest guy. Having him in the slot might not be the best situation for us. I know Josh Huff is pretty quick, so I think we might have him. He's a 90 speed. 92 speed for Nelson Aguilar. Tight end stays the same. What about left tackle? We've got Jason Peters starting at left tackle, and then Beecham behind him. Beecham's 27. He's Jason Peters 34. We may shop Peters. Because at 34 years old, I mean, we're not going to get a whole lot more out of him. What kind of contract did Beecham sign? A 4-year deal. So we're going to have him for 4 years. So Peters may be a guy that we shop. Looking at left guard, just a slight improvement at left guard. Not too big. Left end. Left end's pretty huge. Justin Tuck's going to be really strong, at least for this year. Defensive tackle. They didn't pick up a defensive tackle, so that kind of sucks. But at cornerback, Brandon Boykin's coming in. Cummings coming in. That's crazy that he's going to be the number 3 at 73 overall. Maybe these guys are strong, though, because it's not all about overall, especially when you're got kind of weak man coverage, all of them. But I guess we'll find out. Free safety still Malcolm Jenkins. Strong safety. Oof. Both at a 75. So that's going to be a battle for that spot. And also prefer to have somebody else stronger there. All right, so let's go to the draft. Let's see who we can pick up there. Hopefully, it is somebody strong. Starting the NFL draft. What? Oh God, what's going on? I think it felt like I was on that screen. We will go into the draft and not just simulate the whole thing and see the aftermath, because I would like to see like who they pick right up front. We're going to have the 18th pick of the first round, and I do believe Philly does not have their second round pick, so we're going to have to wait until the third round to see who our second draft pick is going to be. So let's go ahead, advance to user pick, and we'll advance to the next pick and see who Philly picks up. They're going to pick up a strong safety. So if he's a good strong safety, that's going to be pretty big for us. Um, let's go ahead and see, because I believe we can check out his overall. 82 overall. So that's pretty strong. It's a pretty good pick, is what they're saying. Out of Georgia, 21 years old. Decent speed for a strong safety. Zone coverage is all right. It's pretty weak in terms of strength at 57. And a tackling at 69. So this guy, he's going to be more of just the coverage safety. He's not going to be able to make a lot of plays. He's got a lot of hit power, but looks like his block shedding's weak as well. Yeah, I'm not too excited about that pick. However, it does fill a void that we had at strong safety. We now have a guy who can start in that position, and he's a rookie. He will develop over time. We'll just have to work with what we got. That's kind of the whole name of the game this series. So here's our second pick. It comes in the third round. And we are going to take a quarterback. That is interesting, because usually quarterbacks in the third round are not going to be very strong. So this guy's probably going to be maybe even less than Mark Sanchez. He may just be the third guy on the roster. Yeah, he's a 63 overall out of Wake Forest. Not the strongest. So we will skip ahead. We've taken a strong safety. Oh yeah, I forgot. The next pick comes very soon. And we're going to take a left outside linebacker where we weren't in need of a guy. However, he may have been too good to pass up on. A 59 overall, so they're not doing too well. After that first pick of an 82, which was pretty strong, their next two picks in the third round, I would expect them to be a little bit higher than these two. But I guess that's what you get when you don't scout anybody out. We will advance the next user pick, which I believe will be in the fourth round. Number 18 again. Alright, yeah, I can just do it that way. Simulate pick. We're going to take a wide receiver. I like a wide receiver in fourth round. I usually always go with a wide receiver or a cornerback around this time, because you can get guys who can perform even now. Like this guy's a 69 overall. Speed's an 83. Ooh, that's not very good. Yeah, it's not the best. He's also a route runner, and his route running is only a 75, so that kind of tells you the whole story. Not the best receiver they could have taken. I would have liked some speed with that pick, but we will work with it. I'm going to take a free safety. I'm going to go ahead and in the draft there, we'll simulate it, because I don't think these picks that they make now are going to have too big of an impact on the season, at least right away. I will look at it. All right, we will look at the rookie signings just to kind of see who they did end up picking, what their overall is, etc. So, strong safety, free safety. wide receiver at 65, quarterback at 63, defensive tackle at 62. That's all right. I like that pick because we need more defensive tackles. I would like a stronger defensive tackle on the team, but all right. I think we're gonna keep it at that, and I think we're gonna leave it there for today. I want to thank you all for watching my first ever episode. There will be more to come. So if you want to stay tuned to that, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff. And I will see you next time. Have a good one.